Welcome back to more Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Last time we finished Olimar's assignment, so this time we're moving on to Olimar's comeback.
Hey, Ombudsman, Captain Olimar. Wind, Gero, Loon, Dolphin. Ktu, Verbi Pak. Shopatu, Kolum Kpa, Pchi. Ebena Shaganahi, Alu, Badnurun. Epaganasun, Ibination, Hontade. Chacho, so do Bakoban. Okay, Aluspina, Pikmin.
Our first mission is Pikmin Reunion. A real leader would maximize Pikmin gains by exploiting creature bodies and pellet posies. Be sure to align pellet posies with Pikmin colors for the highest return on investment, the President. We're here on this planet for the 4th time in order to recover my company's ship, which we had to leave behind last time. But all I really want to do is finish the job so I can return to my family. I'll need the Pikmin for that, but our crash landing startled them badly and they seem to have scattered. My first order of business will be to round a few of them up. First things first, we must collect ourselves some Pikmin. I think 100 should do it. We're kicking off the second side story with a very unique objective. We have 8 minutes to reach 100 Pikmin within this small section of the Tropical Wilds. In general, I think Olimar's comeback is a lot more interesting because there's a bit more objective variety, but the overall difficulty is still relatively low, especially for a post-game mode. This still requires a fair bit of multitasking in order to get the platinum medals, so in this case we'll have Louie raise blue Pikmin in the water, and we'll have Olimar work with the red Pikmin on land. Speaking of Louie, there's actually a bit of a plot hole because he's actually present for this mission. For the voyage log, for the best ending, Alf mentions that they can't find Louie anywhere on board the Drake, and he assumes they might have accidentally left him behind. Obviously, this could be explained by they found him later, but I almost wish they had done more with that for the setup for Olimar's comeback. Like having Louie left behind again as the framework for Olimar, and potentially one of the co-pilot characters also coming back to the planet to rescue Louie. Though that would be a little bit redundant of Pikmin 2's post-game. Another way to get around this would be to have Olimar arrive on the planet by himself, and Louie just happens to be at the crash site where Olimar happens to land. Obviously that would be very convenient, but it would be a way around that. Ultimately, Louie is here just because they need a second character for co-op, and in general I do feel like the side stories are fairly low budget, so for what they are, I actually do find them very enjoyable. But again, I do feel like certain elements like that are a little bit undercooked because these really weren't meant to be, like, super involved missions. Over here, we have an unfinished bridge and some dwarf bulborbs, so we'll take them out and then start working on the bridge to the other side. For this mission, there are quite a few Pikmin planted around this area, and those do count towards our total, so we do have to get to the opposite side of this little river in order to actually pluck all the Pikmin over there. We also have to make sure to gather up all the Pikmin at the onions in order to count, and we're actually scored based on how many Pikmin we actually raise. So it's not based on time or anything, though as always you will get a time bonus if you manage to complete the mission really quickly and actually make it to 100 Pikmin before the time limit is up for the day. So the other set of bridge pieces is on the other side of this area near where the Bulborb was, so we'll go and have the red Pikmin take those pieces back as we try to deal with a couple more of the enemies in the water. At this point, we can kind of consolidate our forces like so and deal with a bunch of the threats in a group. We'll have them carry that back. We definitely want to leave Louie over there to actually recover the Pikmin in a bit. I think I'll actually get the blue Pikmin though, so I have a lot more numbers, because there is a Bulborb on the other side, if I'm not mistaken, but again, we want to leave Louie there in order to actually retrieve the Pikmin in a bit. I think I'll leave those Pikmin planted there as well, considering we'll also have to carry back the Bulborb in a bit, so we might as well just save a little bit of time and go back for those sprouts in a bit. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that we must investigate every nook and cranny. With this many Pikmin, the Bulborb didn't stand a chance. We'll have the red Pikmin carry that back, just so it doesn't have to go through water, and we might as well take some time while we're over here to gather up all of the other Pikmin. So there's quite a few blue Pikmin over here, along with a 5 pellet. We are at 92 Pikmin on the field. The Bulborb should put us over 100, so I don't think I'll have to worry about that pellet, actually. We'll just worry about gathering up the sprouts over by the 2 onions. It's also interesting in these modes how the onions are unmerged in certain cases like this, so I guess they can actually split apart again, which is very interesting. Though again, that might be putting too much thought into bonus content missions that may or may not actually be canon based on other plot holes. But with that, the Bulborb has arrived, meaning to prepare for tomorrow, let's pull out those buried Pikmin. So yeah, all that's left is to round up all the sprouts over here. Words cannot describe how I'm feeling, Your Highness. Please accept this platinum medal and a song written by yours truly. Our landing scared the poor Pikmin, but they've calmed down since. Unfortunately, we miscalculated and touched down some distance from the onion. I'm not even sure where the ship is anymore. There are dangerous predators on all sides, but we have a job to do nonetheless. Next up is creature hunting. Timing is everything. If you can't throw those bomb rocks just right to take out the strongest creatures, I don't know what else to tell you. The President. Mission Log Day 2. We're homing in on a signal that might be coming from one of the ship's parts, but the way there will take us across an area swarming with Bulborbs. Still, I don't see any other way to progress with our mission, so we'll have to face the danger head-on and do what we can. What a marvelous view! We're still in the tropical wilds, but we have a new objective. This time, we have to defeat all the enemies in this area in under 10 minutes, which is easier said than done. This actually isn't too bad, but there's one enemy in particular that can cause a lot of problems, so we'll have to see how this goes. First up, let's deal with the dwarf Bulborbs, and once they're out of the way, we're going to take some time to grow some more Pikmin. We might be able to defeat the adult Bulborb with only 10 Pikmin, because again, the side stories are generally scaled to the normal difficulty rather than hard or ultra spicy, but I'd rather not take too many risks. In the meantime, with Olimar, we're going to head to the next section to see what we can find. I think I've landed in the wrong spot. They actually got rid of the path between these two sections, which makes sense because that's basically a linear corridor to set up the boss arena. Here we have a ton of smaller enemies and a Bulbear off in the distance. We definitely don't want to fight the Bulbear head on, so let's deal with some of the smaller enemies first before trying to figure out what to do about the Bulbear. We also have a couple of skitter leaves over here. They definitely blend in a lot of the time, so you definitely want to make sure that you don't forget about these. We also have a few rock Pikmin planted over here, along with some bearded amp rats. We also have a dig spot over there, so we'll investigate that next. Attack when its back is turned. While they're digging there, let's swap back to Louie to see how they're doing. The red Pikmin are just about back with their pellet, so with about 20 Pikmin or so, that should be enough to easily defeat the Bulborb. And then we'll head over to the main section and hopefully reunite with Olimar. We have 2 bomb rocks here. Again, because this is essentially the normal difficulty, that will be enough to actually defeat the Bulbear, unlike on the harder difficulties, where Bulbears actually take more bomb rocks. I'd also like to deal with some of the dwarf Bulbears as well with the bomb rocks. This is getting tough. I do like how enemies stop for a moment, giving you a chance to actually run away. With the Bulbear out of the picture, it actually drops a bomb rock, which is very nice. Sadly, we weren't able to take out all of the dwarf Bulbears, so let's try to carefully deal with them with the rock Pikmin, and we also have another skitter leaf over here, I'm pretty sure. We also have a few crystal walls here. I don't think we actually have to break this one, so we'll leave that one alone. We also have 2 calcified crush blats near the landing site of the original visit to the tropical wilds. While they're working on the wall, I'm going to also use the remaining bomb rock here from the Bulbear fight to hopefully take out both of the amp rats. If I don't have to worry about electric enemies without yellow Pikmin, that will make things a lot easier. So with this opening section pretty much cleared out entirely, let's swap back to Louie and deal with this Bulborb. Again, it's actually very nice that the Bulbears don't actually regenerate. Unlike in Pikmin 2, they're still very scary because they don't end up falling asleep. But not having to worry about carrying them back within a time limit definitely makes things a lot easier. With that Bulborb out of the picture, we also have a wall over here, so we're going to have Louie's squad work on this for a bit, and then we'll swap over to Olimar. We don't have that many Pikmin, but we might be able to deal with some of the enemies over here. Huh, it's gone dry. Here we have a swooping snitch bug, so let's take this one out. I'm actually not sure if I can easily defeat the peckish aristocrab with only 6 rock Pikmin, so let's actually head over here where Louie is. We actually don't even need all the Pikmin that are planted throughout this area. It's actually kind of overkill given, again, that this isn't overly difficult. The one tricky part is sometimes the Bulbear will run over to you while you're trying to work on other tasks, so that can be a little bit scary, but luckily it did stay over on the far side of the region, and we didn't have to worry about that. This Bulborb drops an Ultra Spicy Spray, which we actually don't need at this point because we've already defeated the scariest enemies of this mission. We have 5 enemies left, so let's try to track them down. First up, let's deal with the peckish aristocrab. We have 16 rock Pikmin now, which should be enough to hopefully break the claw without too much trouble. Again, you can actually save Pikmin if you manage to stagger it fast enough, like so. That was actually very close, but we were able to defeat it without too much trouble. Again, I'm not actually sure if we need this many rock Pikmin, but there is one enemy that can be a little bit tricky to fight with a small group of Pikmin, so let's actually pick up the those rock Pikmin there, and let's head over here, where we have even more rock Pikmin. Again, this is kind of overkill at a point. But past this section, we have another skitter leaf here, and a hermit crawmad nest. So as usual, you want to lure it out of its... The ship appears to be missing. You want to lure it out of its hole, and then charge as it's trying to retreat. With this many Pikmin, and mostly red and rock Pikmin too, this should be a pretty fast fight even though we don't have that many. That was a very nice one cycle, and it dropped another bomb. So we actually could use this against the calcified Crush Blats. It would be nice to actually break both of their shells with one, but I think it's unlikely given that they're kind of spaced apart. I cannot select the Bomb Rock Pikmin. I guess it was actually stuck on something. There it is. So let's toss the Bomb Rock, and let's hope they both stay close enough to instantly break the shells. So that should be... Now it should be pretty easy to take out both and finish up this day. Words cannot describe how I'm feeling, Your Highness. Please accept this platinum medal and a song written by yours truly. Well, we didn't find the ship we came for. It's tough to keep the Pikmin safe through the constant attacks from this world's inhabitants, but they do anything for me, so I have to do what I can for them. Besides, I'm not so bad off. I have the benefit of experience, decent equipment, and Louie. With all that, I should be home with my family in no time. Next time, we'll try to tackle Day 3 and Day 4 of Olimar's comeback. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Pikmin 3 Deluxe.